Good afternoon. It's 106. You're listening to classical music here on West Virginia Public Broadcasting. I'm Matt Jackford, your host for this afternoon. And I'm here with some very special guests as part of our call for performers. Today we have Autumn Equinox on here, performing live without a net. Ryan Kurzak on hurdy-gurdy, Dave Riggs on double bass, Claire Sweeney on nickel harpa. Welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. It's great to have you all on here. And we want to know more about this really interesting ensemble. So, Ryan, first tell me, how did you all come together? Give us a little bit of a background story here.
Well, I took up the hurdy-gurdy because I didn't want to play in a band anymore. And I moved back to West Virginia. And Dave here, I went to high school with him. He decided he was going to get me back into music. And then Claire was looking for a cello player on Craigslist. And I thought to myself, well, hurdy-gurdy's close enough. So she agreed to get together and play a bit.
Okay, that's great. And, why did you all, select these interesting instruments? I mean, it's just something that happened, or?
Well, I just heard the hurdy-gurdy at some point in time many years ago on a Jimmy Page and Robert Plant album.
Okay.
And,
from Led Zeppelin fame.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I fell in love with it. And fast forward 20 years, all my Irish folks told me never to get one because it was a nasty, squawky instrument.
Okay.
And then I just decided to commit to it. So that's how I found this. And then Claire, she was playing fiddle, and she has since, how old were you, 6? Yeah, very young.
Yeah.
And she called one day and said, should I get a nickel harpa? And I'm thinking I'm the last person to ask, should I buy an instrument?
Yeah, okay,
so
yeah,
she
right.
picked it up and just took off.
That's awesome. That's amazing because they are beautiful instruments.
Yeah.
And then we also have Dave Riggs on double bass, of course. These are all wonderful stringed instruments here. And we'll get into more of how the hurdy-gurdy and the nickel harpa work and what exactly is going on there. But first, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of music. We've got several great selections of traditional and folk music. And you have a set of 3 songs for us to start out with. So go ahead and, if you'd like to set those up and explain what those are.
Yeah, well, the first one's called Murren's Jig, which is a jig I learned in Asheville, North Carolina at the Irish session from Sean Sutherland, if you're watching. This one's for you. The middle one, Midnight on the Sea, was a tune I wrote. And then Deep Time it's a jig, right? Is it something in 6/8 that Claire Sweeney wrote? So,
oh, cool. Yeah, Claire. All right. We got the composer here in the building. Yeah. And so let's take off and listen to this first set of songs performed here live in our studios by Autumn Equinox.
Thank you.
Great job, guys. That was awesome. We heard three selections there. Murrian's Waltz, is that right? Did I get there?
They say Murrins.
Murrins, okay, yeah, a little West Virginia there for you. And then we had Midnight on the Sea, and then Deep Time, and that's all performed here live by Autumn Equinox in our studios. And let's talk some hurdy-gurdy here, right?
All right.
Tell me about the hurdy-gurdy and how exactly it works.
That's a good question. It's really a mystery. Some people some people think you blow in it, but you don't. It has a wheel that you crank, and it has rosin. The wheel's rosin, and so it bows the strings.
Okay.
And that's why we have these drones.
Yeah.
And then the key chest itself has little tangents which act like your fingers on a violin.
Oh, cool.
So you've got drones, and you've got the melody, and then you have the interesting rhythmic part, which I'm not very good at just yet.
Yeah, okay.
But working on it.
Right.
So it's a drone instrument.
Gotcha. So you're cranking with the right hand and then choosing the notes with the left hand, right?
Yes,
and
correct. Yeah.
But so it keeps the drone going, but you also can play melody on top of it. Is that
Right.
how it
Yeah.
works?
You got to do it all at once because as the wheel goes, it's just bowing all of these strings that are attached to it. So you just turn the drones on or off, and then play the melody and hope it comes out all right.
Gotcha. Yeah. Nothing easy about that. But you seem to tame that hurdy-gurdy beast over there. So,
Well, sometimes.
yeah. What's I mean, did you take lessons? How did you learn how to play?
Well, I just tried to figure it out myself, and then I recognized I needed some lessons. So I've taken some lessons with a few people, but right now I'm actually taking lessons from Toby Miller, who's a classical hurdy-gurdy player.
Okay.
So I don't know any classical like you might like it just yet.
Right. So what is he
working on
playing? Bach on the hurdy-gurdy?
Oh yeah,
or
she has
something?
a CD called basically Bach on hurdy-gurdy, and it's beautiful.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You should
That's
check her out.
Actually really cool. Okay. And so you're getting lessons from her on that. Okay.
Yeah, she has me doing arpeggios and G minor harmonic scales, which I didn't even know existed. So.
Okay, right. Well, that's awesome. So we have that hurdy-gurdy, and we'll get into the nickel harp after we play through another series of selections here. We have Spiral Dance, Northern Ballad, and then Bayraktar. And,
Yes.
Okay, I actually pronounced that right.
Yes.
Good. And so you want to set those three songs up for us?
Sure. Spiral Dance, Northern Ballad, Bayraktar. All these I heard from a hurdy-gurdy player from Russia called Andrei Vinogradov. He's one of my favorite hurdy-gurdy players, and we learned these tunes, which is wonderful. And I've actually sent him recordings of us playing these, And I'm not sure, maybe he doesn't, well, maybe he's got a lot of fans, or maybe he doesn't speak English well, I don't know. But I always get a thumbs up.
Okay,
so we're going to send this to him as well once we get
and it'll give you that obligatory thumbs up here.
We hope.
Right. All right, we'll take it away when you're ready. Autumn Equinox, you're live in our studios. quick stop there at the end. The hard stop. That was great. That was a set of 3 songs there performed here live by Autumn Equinox. Spiral Dance, Northern Ballad, and then Bay Rocktar. And those were all really cool, interesting tunes. And I really like the chromatic bass line and Spiral Dance. Is that something you all just added, or does that just come with the song? Or
That's all Dave.
That's all? Oh,
Yeah,
great. I love that.
Dave.
That's the, like... That reminded me of something from Led Zeppelin, that chromatic. Yeah, right. So I can hear that Jimmy Page or Robert Plant influence that you were talking about. So great stuff there, guys. And where did these songs come from? I know you said you heard some and or were able to find them. I mean, how do you?
Well,
how do you find songs like this?
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess once you get a hurdy-gurdy and then you discover the hurdy-gurdy community and then they lead you down a rabbit hole of all these different tunes, and so a lot of them are, like I said, Russian tunes, and let's see, Bay Rocktar was that Bulgarian? Is that Bulgarian? And
great.
We like a lot of Swedish tunes. Would that? Yeah, a lot of Irish tunes. So just anything that's not in 4/4. Or in D or G.
Right. Gotcha. It's great. And, how do you learn them? How do you learn the songs? You just do it by ear? Is there any notation? Or
there is notation. A good bit of it we learn by ear. Yeah, that's probably the best way. What's that?
I learn entirely by ear.
Yeah, she learns entirely by ear. She learns everything easy off the bat. Just there it goes. It takes me a little while.
Right. Yeah. No, that's tough to do, to learn all this, because the melodies are very complicated. There's a lot of rhythmic variation, and it just, I could see getting lost in that. But if you're got that, you have that really good ear, then you can really follow along. And let's talk a little bit about the Nyckelharpa.
Sure.
And, I want to know what the difference between that instrument and the hurdy-gurdy.
Sure. They're very similar, sort of conceptually, but I play the Nyckelharpa with a tiny little violin bow, basically.
Okay, right.
Versus the wheel and the crank.
Gotcha.
It's like about a half the size of a normal violin bow.
Right.
And it has 3 melody strings that have chromatic keys. Much like the hurdy-gurdy, it has a key box with tangents that press down on the string, and then what makes it really ring is it has 12 sympathetic strings that are tuned to the 12 notes of the chromatic scale, and so any note that you play has a resonant string that will resonate along with it and gives it sort of a natural reverb.
Yeah, play just a couple notes by yourself. And that's not and I didn't put any reverb on that.
So Isn't that amazing?
It does that in the open air, no matter where you are. It sounds like very...
Oh, and it lasts for like
in the middle
seconds.
of the field. You think
really
it's just
cool.
20 instruments.
So it's a Swedish instrument, like a traditional Swedish folk instrument. Nyckelharpa actually means keyed fiddle.
Oh, okay.
In Swedish.
Oh, okay. So, and it's nickel with a Y too.
Correct.
That's really cool. And every note, every little button there is a different note on the scale, right?
And it has about the range of a viola. So,
Gotcha.
But you're, instead
mid-range.
of just putting your finger right on the string, you're playing all these little clacky keys.
Yeah, right. And
so 16 total strings on this instrument.
Wow. Okay. And it's what's the difficulty like? What's the range of the difficulty? pretty hard.
Well, it's very similar in many ways to playing the fiddle. So since I had played the fiddle for so long, I picked it up relatively easily. And
right.
I've had many fiddle teachers, but I'm sort of self-taught on the Nyckelharpa.
Cool. And so you press a key, and then, that guarantees intonation, or can you bend it, or how do you...
You can kind of bend your intonation a little bit by pressing harder or lighter on the key. It's a little finicky, especially up in the very high notes.
Sure.
You have to sort of very gently press these keys to get it to sound in tune. It's a little bit of a finicky instrument, maybe not quite as finicky as the hurdy-gurdy.
Gotcha. Well,
as you heard with the Spiral Dance.
Right. Well, thanks, Claire, for that little rundown on the Nyckelharpa. And let's keep going. Let's keep going on this journey of this folk and traditional music here.
All right.
And next up we have Clergy's Lamentation. And set that one up for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, you should set this one up. This is a Baroque period tune, by the way, just for the sake of classical
Oh,
music.
okay. All right. There we go.
The Clergy's Lamentation is a tune written by Turlough O'Carolan, who was a Irish harper in the sort of early 1700s. He was blind. He was blinded at the age of 18 by smallpox.
Oh no.
And
Yeah, really.
so
gosh.
he was from a decently well-off family, and so they got him an apprenticeship with a harper. He learned how to play the Irish harp, and then apparently they gave him a horse and a guide and sent him out around Ireland, and he would stay at people's homes and write them tunes.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's sort of considered by some the national composer of Ireland, because he has such an influence on the sort of traditional music of Ireland. And he wrote probably, I think, around 215
Wow.
tunes that we know of.
Yeah, it's cool to hear the histories of these, because you sometimes think they just came out of nowhere, but it's really some clergyman, riding along. Who would have thought? So let's take it away. Clergy's Lamentation, performed here live by Autumn Equinox.
Let me make sure I'm in tune real quick. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
right. That was Clergy's Lamentation there, performed live in our studios by Autumn Equinox. And so that piece is, strictly in, one of the scales there. Do you know what that was? It sounds like Dorian or something.
we were having a talk about this on the way up. It's a G something.
G something.
All those Irish tunes are in weird.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, we're not that. I'm not that.
No, that's okay. Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, they're all in those like weird, different, or not weird, but different modes and things like that. It's really, interesting.
But it sounded Dorian to you.
It did.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
I think so. Yeah. So let's keep going here on this performance and set up our next 3 tunes for us, Ryan.
All right, let's see. It's Kira's Autumn Dance, The Last Waltz in Our Home, and Atfield's Lament. The middle one is a Breton tune, French-Canadian waltz, right? A French-Canadian waltz. The first one, Kira's Autumn Dance, is a tune I wrote. And the final tune, Atfield's Lament, is also a tune I wrote for a fiddler in Morgantown, whom we played at the Irish session at the Brew Pub, and I taught it to him. And when I came back to West Virginia after 10 years, I played it again, and he had no recollection of this tune that I wrote for him.
He forgot it. No. Ungrateful.
It's memorable.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So, how do you go about writing and then teaching it to the band? How do you go about doing that?
That's a good question. Well, writing, it just kind of pops out. So I'll sit down, and if I've gone for a walk, and I'll just get the hurdy-gurdy or mandolin out, as it was for Atfield's Lament, and the tune just kind of comes out. So it doesn't.
Gotcha.
They don't ever feel like they're actually my tunes, which is fun because when you play them and listen to them, it's like, well, that's a good tune.
Right.
As far as teaching them to the band, I just make a recording and say, here you go, do something.
Right. Gotcha. Great. Well, you were at the brew pub. Perhaps your friend had, a little bit of brew, a couple too many brews, and maybe that's why he forgot it. We'll go with that for right now. This is Kira's Autumn Dance, Last Waltz in This House, and then Atfield's Lament.
Yes.
So all performed here live by Autumn Equinox.
Right.
Great job, guys. That was awesome. That was Kira's Autumn Dance, Last Waltz in This House, and then Atfield's Lament. And those are tunes written by Ryan here? All of them written by you?
All but the middle one.
Okay, yeah. All written by our hurdy-gurdy player, Ryan Kurzak. And those are some interesting tunes there. I'm not going to lie, guys. I think you all win the weirdest ensemble award we've had on this show. And I mean that in the best way, for sure. We had oboe and English horn and double bass on here, but I think this one wins. I'm interested, in the cranky of the hurdy-gurdy. Do you have to do that in time? Does it have to be in
if I'm
the
doing
beating?
The buzzing correctly, then yes, it needs to be in time. So you kind of got to get the right groove with it before you even get going.
Right. So you have to hit the top of the spot of the circle.
Yeah. It's usually divided. Well, it could be divided into 3 or 4, but the top one is the 1, and you pull for the 2, and then up for the 3, and then push for the 4.
Right.
And some people can do some crazy stuff with it.
Right.
But that is not I at the moment.
Sure. Yeah, cool stuff. Great. Well, we've got a couple more selections here, and then we'll start with Hellebore.
Yes.
Am I saying that right?
Yes.
And then give us a little explanation of that.
Hellebore. I don't know what to explain. This is from Belgium, correct? I believe Narragonia. Yeah, so it comes from Narragonia, and it's a wonderful tune that seems to be very popular in the hurdy-gurdy community. And it's simple, and it's got a great groove, and we kind of fell in love with it once we figured out that we could actually play it. So hopefully we will prove that.
Right. Well, that sounds great. We have Hellebore here, performed live in our studios by Autumn Equinox.
All right.
I like that little ending. Was that a little improv ending there?
Totally. We meant it.
Yeah. That sounds like jazz, baby. No, good stuff there. That was Hellebore. Had a great groove to it. Really interesting stuff there. Performed live in our studios by Autumn Equinox, and we are live on Facebook right now too. And we have some great comments, including Alice Fleischman saying, "Sounds great, guys."
Nice.
Ruth Melnick saying, "Thank you for bringing such wonderful eclectic music to your show. It sounds great." Marilyn DeVita says, "I thought I was in Dublin." And Steve Harris says, "Nice." So we've got some activity going on our Facebook live stream. And we got Eddie back here running the cameras, Eddie Isom. So thanks for that. He's doing a great job being our Steven Spielberg right now, directing the show. And, of course, thanks to Autumn Equinox for coming and performing live for us. We got one more set of tunes and, just a few minutes left. So we got Sheep Waltz and Farewell to Glasgow. And let's just take it away. I think we're getting close to the end here. So
Okay.
go ahead. Great job, guys. We heard Sheep Waltz and Farewell to Glasgow, and that was all performed here in our studios by Autumn Equinox, and they sounded great. And now we're going to have to move to 1A and NPR News, though. And so I just want to thank Autumn Equinox for coming on the show. Ryan Kurzak, Hurdy-Gurdy, Dave Riggs, Double Bass, Claire Sweeney, Nickel Harpa. Thank you guys so much for coming on and performing live for us and talking with us.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you.
Well, we hope to have you all again. Stay tuned for news and 1A coming up next here on WVPB Charleston, WVBY Beckley, WVBL Bluefield, WVPW Buchanan, WVWV Huntington, WVP Martinsburg, WVKM 81, WVPM Morgantown, WVPG Parkersburg, WVDS Petersburg, WVWS Webster Springs, WVMP Wheeling. Just want to thank Autumn Equinox again for such a great afternoon of wonderful folk and traditional music. Again, that ensemble is Autumn Equinox. News is next, then 1A.